Hi friends. Hmm? Hi friends. Welcome back to Stretch Align Move. This is Fazila with you. I hope you all can hear me. You can put a reply here if in case you're not able to hear me. I'll just wait for a minute and then we start. Let few more people join. How is everyone doing? Thank you so much for your time and thank you so much for joining in. We have some very good discussions coming up. So if you all have any questions, please you can type it here in the comment section and we'll take it in the end. Few more seconds and we will start. Okay, so let us start. We have a good amount of people joining in. Hi friends, welcome back to Stretch, Align and Move. I hope you all are doing great and staying safe and healthy at home. Thank you so much for liking and sharing the posts that I have been doing so far. And I hope it has helped you in some or the other way to fight your daily aches and pains. So, coming to the event today, we all know by now that COVID-19 it enters the body through the respiratory system. So, respiratory system means our breathing system. So it becomes very important to understand how to keep our lungs safe, how to do certain kind of breathing exercises, whether you have COVID or you don't have COVID, why breathing exercises are important. So all these things we will study today with our expert. Along with that, we know that for any infection, immunity is the first line of defense. So how to keep our immunity strong, efficient and effective, that also we'll be learning in today's session. So without much talking, let me invite my first guest, which is Dr. Zainab. Dr. Zainab is Dr. Zainab is a cardiorespiratory physiotherapist. She is practicing in Mumbai, and it has been more than a decade that she is practicing. Along with cardiorespiratory, she also deals with musculoskeletal patients and antenatal and postnatal patients. And in these tough times, she has been doing teleconsultation for COVID and post COVID patients to help them recover as soon as possible. Okay. So, hi Zainab, thank you so much for giving your precious time and giving your expert advices here. Please welcome.
Hi, Dr. Fazila. Thank you for having me in the discussion panel. Thank you.
Thank
How
you
are
so
you
much.
doing?
I'm all well. Thank you. Thank you so much, Zainab. And let's start with the questioning because we have limited time. So, the first question for today is why breathing exercises are important during and post COVID phase?
Okay. let me start with the what is breathing exercise. Like everyone will say that breathing every day we do, every second we do, we can't survive without breathing. But this deep breathing or breathing exercises, I will say it's more focused breathing. Actually, you are aware about that you are inhaling air and exhaling air. Okay, so when you do the breathing exercise, exactly you are putting air into your lung. So you have many air sacs or many air pockets in your lung. So all the air pockets will be filled by air, which generally in normal breathing doesn't. So
Okay.
our main intention of breathing exercise to fill all the air pockets with the air. Okay. So in what happens in COVID, when you have COVID, actually everyone is very anxious. They have anxiety, stress, and everything. So first, the breathing exercise, it enhances relaxation. First and
Okay.
foremost important thing is it enhances relaxation. It decreases anxiety. It decreases stress level.
Okay.
Then that's why it gives you a calmness or soothness. Again,
Perfect.
it increases your sleep sleep pattern. I mean, when you have COVID, you have body fatigue, you have body pain. So in that case, if you do regular breathing exercise, then it will definitely help you in sleep. One more thing, everyone knows, I think about till now, everyone knows that what is important of saturation of oxygen. That is
Hmm.
oxygenation in the blood level of
Okay.
oxygenation. So when you do deep breathing exercise, definitely your oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange will increase. It
Okay.
will increase your oxygen saturation by that. So
Hmm.
these are basic advantage or importance of breathing exercise and in COVID patient.
Plus, I have also seen Dr. Zainab that we see a lot of musculoskeletal patients also. So, anyways, the posture for them is compromised by the sedentary lifestyle that they are having. So, that sedentary lifestyle also puts, we are anyways not breathing deeply otherwise, also, unless and
Yes,
until we do some
yes,
yoga or something to do breathing. That time only we are actually making an effort to do a deep breathing. So, I guess
yes,
you have
exactly.
addressed a very important point here.
Yes, exactly. See, when you are in normal situation, well, forget about COVID situation. Normal situation, if you can walk or you can run or you can do any aerobic activity, that is the best thing. But if you are not moving, you are at home, your lifestyle is sedentary, then better do breathing exercise regularly and at regular interval.
Okay, perfect. And one more point, Dr. Zainab, that you said that it helps in sleep because we have seen that during the COVID phase, even if it is a mild infection and people are asked to do home quarantine, they have this issue of insomnia, not having proper sleep and all. So I guess these breathing exercises will be really helpful then.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so my second question would be, Dr. Zainab, can you show us some few basic breathing exercises that can be done during the COVID phase?
Yes,
Whether
sure.
definitely when it is mild infection and you are asked to do a home quarantine, what are the exercises that people can do?
Before going further for the exercise, let me tell you like what precaution you should do when to start exercise. If you have fever, if you have chest pain, if you already have shortness of breath, which is not normal, I mean, which is at the rest, you should not start breathing exercise. Okay.
Perfect.
If
Can you just repeat
and
that, please?
if sorry,
Can you repeat that, please? When they should
yes,
not do?
one is fever, second is chest pain, third is shortness of breath, that is difficulty in breathing at rest. And fourth one, if you feel like there is increase in swelling at some or other body part, you should not go for breathing exercise. You should not start. Okay. And
Okay.
while doing breathing exercise, there are few things like if dizziness, again chest pain, abnormal heart rate, you feel palpitation kind of. I mean, you are aware about your heart rate, you are feeling that heart is thumping, you should
Mhm.
immediately stop the exercise. You should not continue exercise. So these are few things you have to remember while doing breathing exercise. So let me go. You have any question?
Just a second. Guys, whoever is watching, please make a note down of these things, because it should not be that even if you have these symptoms, you are doing these breathing exercises. That is why I asked Dr. Zainab to repeat it again. So this point was very important, when you should not be doing it. So even if you have started doing the breathing exercises, but you feel any of these symptoms that Dr. Zainab has just mentioned, please stop doing the breathing exercises. Okay? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, now I will show some breathing exercise. Okay. Basic. These are basic breathing exercise you can start during the COVID phase. Okay. When you
Okay.
are active COVID, you don't have fever, you have little bit shortness of breath while doing activity, not at rest. Okay.
Okay.
First, I will show you tummy breathing. We say it in the medical term, we say diaphragmatic breathing, but I will just to make you understand more, it is tummy breathing. Okay, so you
Okay.
are keeping your hand just at the junction of your this bone and the starting of your abdomen. Okay, you will keep
Okay.
your hand over one over the other. Always remember, in breathing exercise, you're supposed to inhale from the nose, exhale from the mouth.
Okay.
Never inhale from the mouth. Okay? Always inhale from the nose, exhale from the mouth. And while exhaling, there are two techniques. Either you can just exhale like that,
Okay.
or you can just first sleep your breathing.
So as if
Okay?
you are blowing a
First,
candle.
yes, exactly. Blowing the candle.
Mm.
Okay, so I will start. See, just I'm just I will
See.
take. I will inhale. At that time, just observe my hands. My tummy should go out. So my hands will go up, and then while exhaling, it will again go down.
Okay.
Okay, just
Okay.
see. Okay, and I'm taking inhalation from the nose.
So breathe in through the nose, and when she is breathing in, the tummy comes out, and when you breathe out, the tummy goes in.
Yes,
Can you
and
please repeat?
yes, definitely. First,
Your video is hanging, so just a second. Yeah. Okay.
can you see now?
Yes.
Yes. So I am breathing, my tummy is going out.
Okay. So breathing
Okay.
in through the nose, breathing out
Breathing
through the
out
mouth.
through the mouth. And second, one more important thing, this is deep breathing, not stressful or forceful breathing. You're not supposed to inhale like it is the complete wrong way, because when you are anxious and you want to do something, you will just do. You are not supposed to use your neck muscle or extra thoracic muscles. Okay, it's just
Okay.
relaxed breathing. You're just aware, think about the air going in and coming out. Now this is first diaphragmatic breathing. We are just taking in and taking out in COVID phase. Okay, during when starting, when you are doing breathing exercise in COVID phase, you should start like this only. Okay, this is
Okay.
first exercise. Same thing we'll do with different parts of lung, concentrating on different parts of lung. Our lungs is divided basically three segments: the upper segments, middle, and the lower one. Okay,
Okay.
so you have to just keep your hands just above your collarbone. Okay, like this.
Okay.
And then same thing, you are inhaling through nose, exhaling through your mouth. Okay, and this my hands will go up, and while exhaling it will go down.
Okay. So again, breathing in and the chest comes out, breathing out and the chest goes in. So opposite.
In.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Now in this segment, in this kind of exercise, we are concentrating more on thorax. In previous one, we are concentrating on the tummy. Okay.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
now second is the middle part of the lungs. Okay. Now I am keeping my hand over here. You can see my fingers are spreaded like this.
Hmm.
Okay. Now just breathe in. Whenever when I will breathe, my hands will go away. And while breathing out, it will come again to the normal position. Just
Yes.
observe.
Perfect. So again, breathing in, the chest comes out. Breathing out, the chest goes in.
In. And same thing for the lower lobe. You are holding your chest like this. Okay.
Yes, the lower
Now,
lobe lungs.
same thing, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth.
Okay. Then breathe in and the chest comes out, and breathe out and it goes in.
And it should be deep. Okay. It should not be very shallow breathing. You are not supposed to do, it should be slow enough to go air into the lower pocket. Generally, our lower air pockets are not filled with the air. And when you don't, I mean, when your air pocket doesn't get air for the longer period of time, there are more chances of infection in that pocket, spatially. So you should concentrate on the lower lobe more than the upper and middle. Many of, I
Okay.
think, many of our audiences have seen, or I don't know, COVID patients. Generally, the lower lung affects more. Even in pneumonia for children, anywhere, I mean, any respiratory condition, they have more infection in the lower lobe, because
Yes.
air, when you inhale, it will go up upper lobe and lower middle lobe, but lower lobe still remains without air. So we have to
Yeah.
focus breathing exercise. Now, this is about normal segmental and deep breathing. I will just show one, two exercise which involves your shoulder movement also. Why
Okay.
shoulder movement is important? Because see, our shoulder is connected to the thorax, right? When you are
Yes.
taking up or taking sideways, your thorax opens. Your lung
Yes.
gets more space to expand. That's why
Hmm.
it is important. Okay. So I will show. You can have a ball, some ball kind of object, or without ball also okay, or without any object, it's okay. I will just change my direction.
Yeah.
Same thing you have to do. Breathe in from the nose, breathe out from the mouth. Okay.
Your video has hanged. Just a second. Yeah. Can you show it
Let me
again?
start. Let me start again. Yeah. I'm neutral position, not using any other muscles, not straining my any muscles. Okay. Just normal, relax, deep breathing.
Breathe out through the mouth.
Mouth.
Okay.
Okay. Again,
Okay.
one more time, I will show
Breathe in and breathe out. Okay. We can do
okay.
this in any position, or sitting is
Any
more.
position you can do. Initial phase, if you are comfortable in lying position, you can do in lying, then sitting and standing. Any position you can do. It's not. But yeah, if during COVID, if patient is uh, has less oxygen saturation, then better they go for a lying position and do all the
Lying.
exercise.
Okay. So
Lying or
lying.
half lying, like little bit inclined position with the pillow support or anything. Okay.
Okay, so I just want to add one more thing, that please take care of your posture while doing these exercise, because if you are hunched, you are sitting hunched or lying little crooked, there is no point in doing these exercises, because the ribs and all will expand very nicely only when you are in a very good position. So the spine should be erect,
Posture is
like
very
how
important.
Dr. Yes, like how Dr. Zainab is showing, she is sitting quite erect on the chair and then she is doing all the exercises. Plus, she is taking care of her head and neck also. So her head and neck is not poked forward or bent forward. So it is in a proper alignment. So just to make a small note on that as well.
Yeah. And this one more exercise you can add for shoulder, like with the shoulder exercise, you can just take your hand up and then down. Okay. Same thing. Taking up, while taking up, you will inhale, and while taking down, you will exhale. Same thing. Like I will
Okay.
just show.
Yeah, it is same. Yeah.
Okay. Same thing. Okay. Same thing. Now,
Okay.
this is about COVID phase, right? You asked me about post COVID,
Yes.
right?
So During post-COVID,
when
what are the
recovery,
exercises? Yes.
recovery also. Yes. So in recovery period, we can do all these exercises. Same thing we can repeat, but with we can give hold. Like if I am doing the segmental exercise, I will just breathe in, hold my breath for 1, 2, 3 count, and then exhale. So it's
Okay.
more controlled breathing. The lung will get more oxygen carbon dioxide exchange time. Okay. I know it's more technical, but the oxygen transfer between our body and the environment will be more. Okay. So like
Okay.
I'm just explaining one exercise with that. So
Okay.
gradually you can increase your whole time 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these
Okay.
are basic exercise which you can do during COVID and after recovery also. I mean during recovery time. Few
Okay.
other exercises basically it's just blowing balloon you can do at home. Then
Okay.
taking sip of water with the straw,
Okay.
kind of that, or making bubble in the water with the straw. These are
Okay.
few basic, or blowing candle, because see this exercises, this all exercises are, this last few exercises are more important in which in the patient in which they have suffered with pneumonia,
Okay.
because they have uh, exhaling of air is also a problem, so this
Yes.
will improve the exhaling power also.
Okay. And one more question, Dr. Zainab. Can these exercises be done otherwise also? So even if
Yes,
somebody just wants to do
yes,
it on a regular
definitely. I will advise for every day. See, every day, if we are doing exercises, this exercises, as I told you earlier, that our all lung pockets will be filled with air. The more air in the lung, there are more less chances of collapsing the lung or getting infected by the any virus, not corona, pneumonia virus, or any other bacteria. So you
yes.
should do
Mhm.
this exercises regularly also. And one important thing, you should not do overdo this exercise. Okay,
Okay.
if you are doing exercises like all the exercise 4 to 5 times enough. So at a stretch, give every 5 times of this diaphragmatic exercise. You will take half minute, 1 minute rest. Start with other exercise every time. Six is 4 or 5 times enough. Not go beyond that, because
So you
again it will increase the dizziness.
okay. So you
So you
mean
should
four
not
to five?
overdo.
So you mean 4 to 5 repetitions, and how many times in a day we can do?
When you are in the COVID state, you should. I will advise you. You should do every hourly. So
Okay.
every hourly, you can just give 3, 4 minutes. That's it.
Okay. Okay. And
Not at
then
a
do we,
stretch, with the rest. Okay, with the rest in between.
okay, and do we do in all the positions at one time, or at 1 hour we can do, let's say in sitting, in the next hour we can do in lying down? Is it like that, or we can do it in
See,
any position?
yeah. See, if patient is comfortable uh, in sitting position, I would advise to do all the exercise in the sitting position. You should not change the exercise of your position.
In the
Okay,
positions.
if patient is not able to sit, I mean he is hypoxic or less saturation is less, is little bit breathless. Normally, I mean after activity, then in the lying position, do all the exercise. If
Can you
after two
repeat?
hours he feel, after 2 hours, if he feel that he's comfortable sitting, he can do in sitting all the exercise.
Okay. Okay, fine. I hope we have covered the basic exercises, and guys, whoever is watching, please don't get confused. We will be posting posters based on what exercises Dr. Zainab has just mentioned on our page later on. Okay. So just that few of them have asked some questions. We will address that in the end. Okay. So keep your questions coming. Okay, Dr. Zainab, thank you so much. That was such a wonderful piece of information. Um, So it's time now to
Thank you, Dr. Fazila. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much. Now it's time to welcome our second guest. As I told you that building immunity is equally important. So to address the immunity part, we have Dr. Vyoma with us. So Dr. Vyoma is practicing in Ahmedabad. She is a physiotherapist turned into a nutritionist and a personal trainer, and she has been practicing from last 8 to 10 years. She has a wonderful, just little off the topic. She has a wonderful holistic weight loss programs also. I'll be sharing the contact of these two beautiful ladies in the end. So hang on till that time. And let's welcome Dr. Vyoma. Hi, Dr. Vyoma. How are you?
Hello, Dr. Fazala. How are you doing?
I'm all well. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming live with us and giving your
And
precious
thank you for
time.
inviting me for the panel. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with the questions. Dr. Vyoma, my first question would be in general to boost our immunity. What are the foods that has to be consumed on a daily basis?
Okay, see, instead of talking about the food that boosts our immunity, rather I would like to talk about the nutrients or the elements which are present in the food, which
Okay.
strengthen our immunity. The first basic element that is required in our food is the zinc. We all know, how much doctor is emphasizing on taking zinc tablets and
Yes.
all. So
Yes.
why it is important? See, basically zinc is the key energy source of each and every cells. Our cells won't be able to work, if it is not having proper amount of zinc in it. Secondly, our main fighters of our body, that is WBCs, they are again need a lot of zinc, to do their work. And the all important enzymes in our body which are responsible for various biochemical processes that takes place in our body, they are made up of again zinc. So overall, zinc is a very important element that is required to boost the immunity. And the
Okay.
major sources of food in which we'll get zinc would be like nuts, like you include all the nuts like almonds or cashews or walnuts. They're very much rich in zinc.
Okay.
Secondly, beans, again, they are very much rich in zinc. The fresh beans as well as the dry beans, they're equally very much rich in zinc. Then all the whole grain cereals, like you consider wheat, you consider rice, you consider all the millets, you include
Okay.
barley, corn, they are again very good sources of zinc. And all
Okay.
the unprocessed meat, again, they are also good sources of zinc. So that
Okay.
was all about the zinc. Second important element that is really important to boost our immunity is vitamin C. We've been taking tablets of vitamin C, on daily basis. So why not, we can take in the natural form also. And why it is important? See, vitamin C basically, it is important to increase the resilience of our body. Secondly, vitamin C acts as an antioxidant. Now, what are antioxidants basically? These are the very important elements in our body. There are a lot of processes which takes place in our body, and during this process a lot of toxins are released in our body. So it is important to release these toxins, to remove these toxins from our body. So there the
Okay.
antioxidants play their role, and vitamin
Okay.
C is one of the antioxidant which removes the toxins from our body. And the
Okay.
chief
Okay.
sources of vitamin C are, all the citrus fruits like lemon, orange, sweet lime, pomelo, tangerine, and it is also available in various fruits like the bell pepper, the strawberries, the kiwi. They are again a very good source of vitamin C. So that
Let's
also
see.
needs to be involved in our diet. Yes. And the
Okay.
next after vitamin C is vitamin D, which is, I would say, it's a very crucial vitamin, which need to be there to boost your immunity. Now, vitamin D
Yes.
basically it is involved in various pathways that is responsible for various, processes, biological processes that takes place in our body, and all these processes are related to our immune system. So
Okay.
directly or indirectly, lot of vitamin D is involved in our boosting our immunity.
Yeah.
Plus vitamin D. Sorry.
I guess nowadays everybody is vitamin D deficient, so I
Yeah,
guess
yeah. We are conscious about vitamin D now. Once the COVID is there, everybody wants to take vitamin D. So that,
yeah.
so I just want to explain why it is so important.
Yeah, and
And
just Vyoma, just a
yes,
second. See, guys, Vyoma is telling all the components. That doesn't mean that you don't have to take the medicines that the doctor has prescribed. This is along with those medications. If it is required, the medication is required, the doctor is giving you, you should take. But plus, do some home remedies also. So that is what Dr. Vyoma is focusing on. Okay, so our aim is not to tell you that take only this and don't take the medicines. So just to clear that. Yes, please go ahead.
All right. So I would like to list some of the sources of vitamin D. We all know about the natural source is the sunlight. Apart from the sunlight, vitamin D is also available in egg yolk. It is available in seafood, in fish. So, basically, these are the sources of vitamin D. Next important vitamin is vitamin A or beta carotene. Now, this specific vitamin, it is important for our immunity or our health of digestive system as well as the respiratory system. So vitamin A is also very much crucial to take when you're lacking of immunity. And the major sources of beta carotene or vitamin A are all the basically yellow and orange fruits and vegetables. Like you can think of mango, pumpkin, or mango, pumpkin, carrot. So all these fruits and vegetables are rich in vitamin A. Apart from this, bell pepper, specifically the yellow bell pepper, they're again the rich sources of vitamin A. And certain amount of vitamin A is also present in egg yolk and unprocessed meat also. Next, we talk about vitamin E. Now, this particular vitamin is important for the elderly patients, to boost their immunity. And it is important because it protects the body against various bacteria, various viruses and pathogens. And the major sources of vitamin E are, it includes all the nuts like the almonds, the walnuts, the cashew nuts. They are very much rich in vitamin E. Apart from this, you can take your peanut butter, you can take your almond butter, which is like very in nowadays. People are, transferring themselves into this butters compared to the other normal butters. So these are again very, they are rich sources of vitamin E. So, and even certain fruits like avocado, that is also nowadays very in, it is also a very rich source of vitamin E. So that also you can include in your diet to boost your immunity. Apart from this, I'll be talking about protein and water now. See, protein, we all know it's a building block of our body. Each and every cell of our body is made up of protein. And our major cells, the major, I would say the major soldiers of our body, like WBC or the T cells or the natural killer cells, they are again made up of amino acids which are present in protein. So overall, protein is very much important for our body. And the major sources of protein would be like dal. It includes, it is present in all the legumes or the pulses. It is also present in yogurt, milk, paneer, even chicken, meat. And even the seafood. They are the rich source of protein. And last comes the water. See, water, the 70% of our body is made up of water. So for optimal function of each and every cell, we require water. Plus transportation of various nutrients, which is very crucial to boost the immunity. Again, depends on water. And again, water helps to control the body temperature. So overall, if you see, water plays a very important role in boosting our immunity. So in short, if I summarize the whole, the answer to your question, there are 7 basic elements which we require to boost the immunity. The first would be zinc. The second is vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, vitamin E, protein, and the last comes the water.
Okay, perfect. In fact, I have got so much information after talking with you, because I didn't had any idea why zinc and vitamin C and vitamin D. I had an idea why they are giving, but why zinc and all is so much into this COVID phase, I didn't had any idea. So thank you so much for that. Okay, so the second question is, while having COVID, what specific nutrition has to be taken?
Okay. See, suppose if a person is suffering from COVID, there are 3 things we need to keep in mind. We need to try to decrease his viral load. Secondly, it is important to reduce the congestion if he has. And third, it is important to boost the immunity. So keeping these 3 things in our mind, there are certain steps that, we can go one by one for the patient. The first would be, simply providing warm water to the patient, but it is very much important to understand, nowadays people don't understand what is warm and what is hot actually, it's sort of different. It has to be comfortably warm. It shouldn't be hot that, that just burn your lips and tongue and mouth and throat. We don't want hot water. We want really warm water, comfortably warm water. So that is the one thing you can give to the patient to decrease the viral load and to decrease the congestion. Secondly, you can add certain ingredients into the same warm water to make it more effective. The first you can add is turmeric. See, turmeric, it has got an active element called a curcumin. Now, this is antibacterial and even antimicrobial in nature. So you can put turmeric into the water. Second, you can add lemon. Lemon, we all know it is full of vitamin C. It's a citrus fruit, right? So, and we already discussed why vitamin C is important. So you can just, use the squeeze of lemon into the same water. Third, also you can add honey. Now, honey, we all know that, the syrups, the cough syrups that are available in the market, they do have honey in them. So why it is important? It is because it is antimicrobial and it is antibacterial in nature. It really relieves the congestion of the throat and it soothes your throat basically. So even honey you can add additional to the water. Apart from this, you can add ginger. Ginger has got a very good element called gingerol, which is antifungal and anti-inflammatory in nature. So, you can either use the fresh ginger into the water, or you can just, use the dry ginger powder also. That is also available in the market. So you can use the same thing also. Next would be, you can add black pepper. Black pepper, again, it has got similar function. It is anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial in nature. So either you can add the whole black pepper inside the water, or you can just crush it into fine powder and you can just put it into the water. And the last would be, you can put cinnamon. Now, cinnamon, it's a very interesting thing about the cinnamon. Though it has all the properties like it is antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, but most important that I feel that, it's prebiotic in nature. Prebiotic means, it is like it has got some dietary fibers inside, which becomes the food of the good bacteria which is present in our gut. Those bacteria are important for boosting the immunity of the person. Good bacteria. So indirectly, cinnamon helps a lot in boosting our immunity. And lastly, after cinnamon, I would say you can add some tulsi leaves also. We all know it's a medicinal plant, it's a queen of herb, and I feel it has got all the properties. It is somewhere it is antibacterial, it is antimicrobial, it is anti-inflammatory, it is anti-infective. So it has got all the properties. So few tulsi leaves also you can be adding into the water. Now, one thing I want to explain, see, either you can put 2 or 3 ingredients into the warm water and make a herbal drink or a herbal tea, or in local language, just a kadha, and you can have it. Or you can just mix all the ingredients little and put it into the water, and you can, provide the same water to the patient having COVID. So at least try to give 1 or 2 times. So, that would be better.
You didn't tell how much has to be, what is the quantity of all these things that you have to put?
Roughly, it has to be a half to 1 teaspoon. If you're making a 1 glass of water, then half teaspoon would be like fine. If you have
half of teaspoon of all the ingredients that you just mentioned.
All the ingredients, and it depends upon the taste also. Yes. See, certain people like to have lemon more. Then accordingly, you can change according to your taste or preferences. But I would say at least half to 1 teaspoon would be effective in 1 glass of water.
Half to 1 tablespoon.
Yes.
Sorry, teaspoon. Okay.
Teaspoon. Okay. Next we talk about
how many times in a day?
Once or twice, not more than that. Please don't do that. That is not required.
Okay, and if it is, you just mentioned honey to add just to make little bit edible if somebody is not liking that taste of the
color. You can omit it. Yeah, and so, one thing I remember about honey, as you're mentioning, honey need to be add depending upon your preference. If you don't like the sweet taste, you can just omit the honey. But specifically, when if the patient is diabetic, it is important to use in moderation. Because at the end of the day, honey is sugar. All right. So you need to use it in moderation. That is important.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. Okay. So next, we'll be talking about the food portion. What food need to be taken for the COVID patient. So I would say a well-balanced meal need to be taken for the patient. Now, like a diet which has good amount of complex, good carbs, diet which is full of it is not full of saturated fats, rather it is more of unsaturated fats need to be taken. Good amount of protein need to be taken. Good amount of minerals and vitamins which are available in fresh fruits and vegetables need to be taken, and more amount of fiber which is again present in whole grain cereals and fruits and vegetables need to be taken for the patient. And lastly, we need to maintain the water content of the patient. Like the patient need to be hydrated throughout the day, so at least he should be drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water in a day. And
Okay.
some special precautions I would like to give for the patient having COVID. Try to avoid outside food, try to avoid restaurant food, try to eat homemade food. That is any day better when you're recovering from the COVID. Secondly, it is important try to decrease the use of salt, oil or fat, and sugar. See, because when you're suffering from COVID, it has been found that your blood pressure, your cholesterol level, and your sugar level really fluctuates, and sometimes it really goes high. So it's very
Mm.
much important that you use all these things like fats and sugar and salt in moderation. That is very important. And even
Mm.
try to avoid smoking and alcohol. That is again very much important when you're suffering from COVID.
Okay.
And last and not the least, take some, a small dose of sunlight also daily, at least for 10 to 15 minutes of
Mm.
sunlight. It is better if you take to get the dose of your vitamin D.
Okay. See, again on that point, on the point of vitamin D, now the timing that you have to expose yourself to sunlight will depend on what is the climate in your country. So if you are
True.
talking about Dubai, in Dubai, if you say go out to 12 to 1 or 12 to 2 out in June, July, August, nobody will follow the
Nobody knows.
advice. So definitely the timing has to be in accordance to the country that you are staying in for the vitamin D.
Agreed. Definitely, I agree to it.
Perfect. Okay, fine. So the again, I just want to tell all the viewers that don't get confused with so much of information. We will be putting posters, individual posters on whatever these experts are mentioning later on my page. Okay. Fine. The third question would be in the recovery. We all know that there would be weight loss, there would be fatigue, which will set in very quickly. There will be weakness that people will be, experiencing even after that active phase is done. So during that time, what food specifically has to be taken?
Okay. See, we talk about the acute stage when the patient is suffering from the COVID. We talk about the nutrition. It is at that point it was important, but now the patient has recovered. He has moved from the acute stage to the post-COVID recovery phase. So in this stage also, the nutrition plays a very very important role. See, because you have been suffering from a virus, you have been infected by the virus. So there have been a lot of damage in your tissues, in your cells. So you need, and a lot of nutrients has been lost in your body, a lot of energy has been lost in your body. So you need to regain all those things, you need to rejuvenate your body, you need to replenish all the lost nutrients from your body. So nutrition again plays a very very important role at this particular stage also.
Your
See,
voice
actually I
was
would
cutting.
say,
Your voice
sorry.
was cutting. Can you just repeat the last line?
That's what I'm telling you. Nutrition plays a very, very important role in the post-COVID phase because you need to get back your lost energy and all the lost nutrients in your body.
Your voice is hanging. Dr. Vyoma, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you.
Your video is hanging. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, but your video is hanging.
Am I
It's
audible?
it's okay. You can continue speaking.
All right. So, like I was talking about the post-COVID phases, what we need to do about the nutrition. So, see, actually, there are.
I'm really very sorry. There has been some technical glitch. That is why Dr. Vyoma is out. No problem. If you have any questions, we'll just ask Dr. Zainab. Dr. Zainab, you had one question that was how many times we should do the exercises when we are in the normal phase? Like when there is no COVID?
Yes, you can do all the exercise 3 times, maximum 3 times a day. That would be enough. You can do 2 times also, but 3 times would be enough. You gave like 5 minutes or 10 minutes for exercise, and 3 times a day, it's enough.
So 3 times a day is enough. Okay,
Yes.
perfect. The next question
But
was,
one more thing I would like to add up. When you are normal, you are not like not you are not
not
having
having.
COVID, or you are not in the recovery phase, or even you are recovering, you should start walking. Even in recovery phase, you should start walking. Start with 2 3 minutes, 5 minutes. As like, pace is your choice, at what pace you want to walk. But start with like 5 minutes, then go with gradually. You have to increase gradually. Then
Okay.
10 minutes. See, even if you are on oxygen after discharging from the hospital, you are recommended, like doctor has recommended you with oxygen support. Then also just remove your oxygen for 4 5 minutes, walk, and then again take oxygen.
Okay.
Gradually, that time you will see that I have seen in my patients that gradually, like within 15 20 days span, they will be able to walk for half an hour also without oxygen. But
Okay.
it should be gradual, and you are the patient is the main doctor, okay,
Mm.
at that time, because they
Listen to
know how they
your body.
are feeling, what are the symptoms they are having. So you should
Yeah.
not overdo, but yeah, you should little bit force yourself. After 4 5 days, like increase 1 minute, and that walking should be done twice or thrice in a day, small
Oh,
small. And never ever try climbing up or going down. Okay, using stairs is not advisable. Walk on smooth flat surface.
surface. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So very good point that please listen to your body. You are your best judge. That we keep on telling our patients. Otherwise, also when we treat other conditions, that you are your own boss. Yeah. So we are there to guide, but then you have to listen to your body. Okay. So I guess Vyoma is here. Dr. Zainab, I'll just see if we can add her and then continue and then come back to you later.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, Dr. Vyoma. Is everything okay?
Um, am I audible?
Yes, you are, but your video is hanging. No problem. You can continue speaking.
All right. Uh,
So we were in the post-COVID recovery, the food that has to be taken.
yeah. See, I feel there are actually six important things that you need to keep in mind once you're out of the COVID and into the post-COVID recovery phase.
Okay.
The number one thing is, eat lot of proteins. That is very much important, because I already explained about protein, that how important it is, because each and every cell of your body needs protein.
Oops. We'll just wait for a while. Let's answer the other question. Okay, Dr. Zainab, the other question was, what about asthma patients? Can they do these exercises? Miss Fatima is asking.
Yeah. Yes, I would. Asthma patients regularly also they have to do breathing exercises, but they have to concentrate more on exhaling exercise than inhaling. So never ever in asthmatic patient you should not exhale from nose. Okay, inhale from nose, but to exhale from your mouth with doing like as if you are blowing the candle.
Mm,
Okay,
first.
that will not allow your lungs to collapse while expiration. Okay, generally in asthma, it's a expiratory disorder. The problem is in the expiration when you see whistling sound while they normally exhaling. Okay,
Yes.
so definitely you have to do in a asthmatic patient regularly you can do, but with good positions. Especially see in asthma you have to take care of postures. You can't sit like this and do normal breathing. You have to be relaxed. Okay. Whenever it is like little bit away from our topic today, But whenever you have asthma attack, at the time also you can use certain posture and do deep breathing exercise that will resolve your at that time shortness of breath. Like if you are sitting and you have suddenly asthma attack, just put 2 3 pillow, or if you have any surface, go with this kind of posture.
Hmm.
This will relax your this diaphragm muscle, and it will
Okay.
allow your chest to expand more. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I hope, Miss Fatima, we have answered your question. If still any doubt, you can message us here. There has been some issue with Vyoma. I don't know. She's not able to join again. We'll just wait for a while. Okay, till that time, Dr. Zainab, can you share some experience about the teleconsultation that you have been doing? How effective it is? I mean, uh, the teleconsultation part during the COVID and the post-COVID phase.
See,
Why
during
actually they need?
post
Did you
COVID,
share?
once they get discharged, most of my patients for teleconsultation, they have severe lung damage during COVID. They had
Okay.
pneumonia, and they had almost 70 80% of lungs affected. There are many patients, my many patients were there like that. So post COVID, they had oxygen at home for more than 15 20 days. In that case, it's not possible to reach, I mean, to go there, and even they can opt for any physiotherapy, because it is very sensitive situation, because nobody wants to go into that phase. Okay. So at that time, I mean, it is the consultation became very important part of my routine. My
Hmm.
patients got many benefits out of that. So many
Okay.
patients, like still now they are like doing once in a 15 days, they just consult me that how they are doing, they are just giving me updates. So yes, we can, I mean, my patients were so oxygen dependent at that time initially, and
Hmm.
gradually within a month span they were completely independent, and within 2 3 months, like 2 2.5 months, they were going to their business or offices, anything.
Okay. Okay, fine. I just had one question in mind. Like, there are many health conscious people, and if they have COVID and post COVID, if they want to get back to their exercise routine and diet routine and everything, so what do you think? How fast they should go? I mean, to their post COVID routine.
See, pre-COVID fitness is important. Okay, if you are fit normally in generally, it will definitely, the recovery period will be much faster. Okay, I mean, the recovery period will be less. You will recover fast, definitely. But see, it depends upon how much, I mean, how much viral load was there, how much your lung was affected, or your any other, like what were the symptoms, fatigue, and generally, see, fatigue, your body pain is a common symptoms which follows the normal
Hmm.
COVID phase. After COVID also they have this fatigue, body pain for 15 days a month and month. So you
Hmm.
should never ever start immediately. You should not think about that, what is my pre-COVID phase. You should
Hmm.
see what was there in the COVID, and now I should gradually start to achieve the goal would be your pre-COVID stage, but you
Yes.
should gain that pre-COVID stage gradually, not
Hmm.
immediately. So take 2 months, 2.5 months. It is not. It is subjective. See, it is again
Hmm.
subjective, but
True.
not immediately after. I will never recommend that.
Okay, okay. Because I have seen certain people, they just jump to their exercise routine as soon as
Yeah,
those quarantine things are over and all. And I totally agree because you go through a lot to do, even if it is a mild
yes,
infection. I have
mild
seen people have weight loss, people have these fatigue issues, their taste senses are gone. So, the appetite and all is anyways
appetite is
affected.
low.
Yeah, okay.
And
So,
in
as
even COVID and during COVID, your immunity also goes low, right? So if your immunity is low and you are starting the high intensity exercise, it will,
mm,
I mean, the results will be more severe than COVID phase. So you should not go immediately after your post-COVID.
Yeah, yeah. And along with the exercise, I feel getting a proper nutrition is also equally important. So people should
Very
not jump to their diet routines and all that they were following, pre-COVID. So have a proper balanced and meal, like how Dr. Vyoma had mentioned, with the proper carbs and proteins and all. So that will help you to get back to your routine much faster. Okay, so I guess Dr. Vyoma is not able to connect. She is having some internet issues. So we will just stop the conversation here. If as I told you, we will be posting all the pictorial presentations. Just a second, Vyoma is joining again. Okay. Hi, Dr. Vyoma.
Sorry, there was some technical glitch.
It's
And I had to
okay.
change my entire setting and I had to change my room and I had to come back again.
It's totally fine. Okay. So we were discussing about the post-COVID diet. Yeah.
Yeah. So see, there are six important things that is important, which one need to understand when the patient is, actually into the post-COVID recovery phase. The first, I was talking that the person needs to have a lot of proteins. At least, he should take 50 to 70 grams of protein per day. That is a requirement of protein once you're out of the acute phase of COVID. And
Okay.
because I already talked about lot about protein, that it is a building block of our body. It is important for tissue repair. It is important for our main components of our immune system, which are WBCs and the T cells and everything. So for everything we require amino acids that is present in proteins. Apart
Hmm.
from this, the second important thing that I would like to address, that a person should be taking I would say, a calorie dense diet. See, if you're on a weight loss program, I wouldn't recommend it this thing. I would recommend it a very low calorie meal plan. But when you're out of the COVID, when you're into recovery phase, lot of stress has been put on your systems, on your body. You need to really strengthen yourself from within. So at that particular point, a very I would say not very, but a moderate calorie diet would be really helpful for the patient. So try to increase your carbs level. You eat more of complex good carbs like roti or rice, or maybe the roti made up of millets, or the brown bread, the brown pasta, even milk, the normal toned milk, and even you can go with the normal potatoes and sweet potatoes, because again they are rich source of
Carbs.
carbohydrates. Yes.
Yeah. Good carbs.
Next, I would like to talk about a diet which is like a nutrients dense diet. Nutrients dense diet means a diet which is like full of proteins and vitamins, which is available in fresh fruits and vegetables. But I would
Hmm.
recommend it, try to eat the entire fruit, rather than having the juices, and try
Juices.
to eat more of a certain amount of vegetables need to be eaten raw. That is in the form of salad. We all eat
Hmm.
sabji roti, we eat sabji, but then a lot of nutrients and lot of vitamins and minerals is lost, or it is damaged during the process. So try to
Yes.
eat a portion of the raw vegetables. That is very much important. Apart from this, you can take a lot of whole grain cereals, because again they're rich in nutrients like vitamins and minerals, and even the nuts and the seeds, they are again very much rich in nutrients.
Okay.
The fourth important thing, like a person should be taking prebiotic and probiotic food. Now, see, this is very interesting. Prebiotic means we already talked about the cinnamon, right? So
Yes.
cinnamon is basically a prebiotic. I already explained before. So it is basically it contains a lot of dietary fibers in them, which are important for the total health, or I would say the good health of your bacteria, which lives in your intestine, which gives immunity to your intestines. So prebiotic food plays a very important role. There are various sources of prebiotics. Like you get a lot of prebiotics from onions, you get from garlic, you get from bananas, you get from apples, apart from
Okay.
cinnamon. And
Okay.
you should also include a part of the probiotic. See, probiotic again, they are the live microorganisms that build the immunity of your digestive system and which protects your body against a lot of bacteria and viruses which enters into the body. So major sources would be all kind of yogurts. All yogurts are very rich in probiotics, and even all the fermented food. Like idli and dosa, and we, in our Gujarat we we like make this doklas and khaman. Again those are the fermented food. So again they are very much rich in probiotics. So that
So
a
I
portion
guess,
of
yeah, so I guess I had a question where somebody, Miss Zankna, has asked, can we eat fermented foods like dosa or idli?
yes, you
So I
can eat
guess you
because it
have
has got a
answered
lot of probiotics in them, which are
probiotics.
important when you're recovering from the COVID.
Mm.
Next, we talk about the water. That is the hydration portion. See, we
Yeah.
already talked about, okay, water is a very important component to build up our immunity, right? But water, at least a person needs to take at least 10 to 8 to 10 glasses of water. Apart from water, the person can also take coconut water. He can take lemon juices, on regular intervals. And even the person can take soups made up of vegetables. He can take broths made up of again vegetables, and try to limit the juices. It's better you take the entire fruit rather than drinking the juices. That makes
Mm-hmm.
no difference.
Okay.
And even the same kada recipe I told you earlier for the
Yeah.
COVID phase, the same kada also you can just repeat into this phase also. And eat lot of vegetables and fruits which contain lot of water in them, like watermelon, cucumber,
Mm.
apple, blueberries, strawberries. They are very, they're very juicy because they have
Mm.
got a lot of water in them.
Water
So try
content.
to eat those fruits and vegetables more in your diet.
Okay.
And last, and again, I would be emphasizing more on sunlight. Try,
Mm.
of course, all ifs and buts are there when the sunlight is there, but definitely try to take at least 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight every day to get
Every
your
day.
right dose of vitamin D.
Okay. Okay,
That's it.
perfect. Perfect. That was a wonderful piece of information. I think you have covered all the food groups, and you know, I think these advices can be followed otherwise also. The balanced nutrition that you just mentioned with proper, proper portion of vegetables, and the protein and the carbs and all. So I guess that can be followed otherwise also.
Yes.
So let's go to some questions for you, Dr. Vyoma. We have, okay, Ms. Zankana, I have already addressed. You can have your idlis and dosas. Okay, Ms. Alethia has asked, is infused water with cucumbers or some fruits also equally nutrient rich? So instead of having just water, can they have these infused water?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely they can have them. See, water in all form you need to take on. But some people just cannot drink. If I tell them to drink, you need to drink 10 to 12 glasses of water. It becomes very difficult for them. But then,
Yeah.
you can just add the amount of water in the form of taking you can take coconut water. That's again a form of water. Or you can, eat this cucumber, or you can eat watermelon, because the major proportion of all this content would be water. So you compensate for your total amount of water also,
Mm-hmm.
and you get variety of things to try also.
Okay, perfect. The other thing is, does cinnamon lose its property when heated or put in our daily sabzis or meat? Cinnamon
Yeah,
loses its property.
definitely. See, the raw cinnamon that you have, what the properties the cinnamon have, the same property would not be there once you put into the warm water, or if you put into the hot sabji or whatever soup or broth you're making. Definitely, the properties will be definitely changing. But then it's not like it is completely zero nutrients, if you put in the warm water. So yeah, one thing I would like to add up to this: whenever you're making that kada or the herbal drink, try to just get one bowl, like just once it has reached to its boiling point, just close the flame,
Yeah.
and you can just consume it once it is comes in under room temperature. try not to heat more and more, because the more you heat, the more properties it will get, definitely it
More
gets lost.
reheating should not be there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So once you get that boil in the water, you're just off the flame, and once it reaches to the room temperature, you can consume it.
Okay. So she's telling taking raw is advisable. Yes, absolutely. I think the way she just explained. Okay. Um So, Mr. Josefa is asking, it is very difficult in daily routine to not to drink the amount of water that is usually asked to, like 8 to 10 glasses of water. So, how to increase the daily requirement? I mean, if they don't like water, what are the options? I think you already mentioned
Yeah.
the infused waters, the cucumbers, and the lemon water
Soups,
and
you
all.
can go with the soups, vegetable soups, you can go with the broths. These
Hmm.
are all the form of water, because I understand, you can, some people have the tendency that they just cannot
Yeah.
drink, 12 glasses of water. It's difficult for them. So this is the
Yeah.
solution we come up to them, just to make the daily
Daily
their balance of the
the
water.
daily requirements.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just go through all the questions quickly. I hope I have answered. You have answered everything. You have addressed everything. Yes. Okay. So yes. So just to take your attention to the blue color that we have worn. All three ladies are in blue. This is basically to mark the Autism Awareness Month. 2nd of April is the the World Autism Day. And this time it is the theme for the Autism Day is inclusion in workplace. So we are marking the Autism Day today. Okay, fine. So thank you so much, ladies, for this wonderful talk. Thank you. I think we have one more question. Okay, Ms. Tasneem is asking for Dr. Vyoma. I missed about the energy boosting foods. Can you please repeat? The energy boosting foods. Can you please be a little specific, Tasneem?
See, basically, if we talk about energy, the major source of energy is carbs. If you don't eat carbs, then you don't have that amount of energy. So if I list and definitely, you should always go with good complex carbs, because there are also simple carbs. Like if you talk about simple sugar, it's the simple carbs. I just wanted to, I won't go much in details about the carbs, but otherwise we won't be able to end this thing. But simple carbs are the carbs which get immediately absorbed in our body. It that
Hmm,
immediately convert into glucose, which is a form of energy that we use in our body. And
hmm,
complex carbs, it takes time to break. It breaks up slowly, and it doesn't shoot up your insulin level. So it gives you a very steady flow of energy throughout the day. So I would say the best energy sources would be carbs. So eat lot of, you can eat a lot of rotis, you can eat rice, you can include that in your diet. You can eat brown breads, you can eat multigrain breads, you can eat the brown pastas. Even you can also have potatoes, sweet potatoes, because they're again the good sources of carbohydrates. Apart from this, the pulses, the dals, they also contain carbohydrates. The nuts also contain carbohydrates. So these are basically, I would say, a very good sources of energy.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much for your time, and that was such a great session. Even I have learned so many things by talking with you all. So I'm sure the viewers have learned more and more. And once again, I'll be sharing their contact details on my page. So if you all want to contact them, for Dr. Zainab, it is teleconsultation, and for Dr. Vyoma, it is any nutrition plan, a very good holistic weight loss plan, or during a post COVID phase, if you need any nutrition guidance, she'll be available. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, yalla, bye bye.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
You.